Chloe Lawson had always known the challenges that came with being a black woman in a corporate world dominated by the privileged. But what she never expected was to face racial profiling as the CEO of her own multimillion-dollar tech company, Solace Innovations. Chloe had worked tirelessly to get to this point, her journey marked by late nights, rejection, and endless sacrifice. Now, as the CEO of one of the fastest-growing tech firms in the country, she was a beacon of black excellence. But on one fateful afternoon, the smooth facade of her professional life would crack wide open. It started with a meeting at the prestigious downtown office complex where her company's headquarters was based. Chloe had arrived early, as she always did, her heels clicking confidently against the marble floor. She was greeted by the usual security guard, a middle-aged man named Dave, who often made small talk. Today, however, was different. "Morning, Miss Lawson," Dave said with a forced smile, eyeing her attire. Chloe was dressed in her signature power suit, tailored, sharp, and assertive. Her curly hair was perfectly styled, and her makeup was minimal, yet elegant. It was a look that screamed authority. "Good morning, Dave," Chloe replied, her voice calm and measured as always. But before she could swipe her badge to enter the building, Dave's demeanor shifted. Could I see some ID, please?" Dave asked, his eyes darting to her badge as if he hadn't seen it 1,000 times before. Chloe paused, taken aback. "I'm the CEO, Dave. I'm here every day." I know, Dave muttered, almost apologetic. "But company policy, just a quick check." Chloe frowned, but she handed over her ID, feeling an uncomfortable knot form in her stomach. This was routine. She'd been through security countless times, but there was something off about Dave's tone. The way he hesitated, his eyes skimming over her attire before quickly looking away, told her all she needed to know. It wasn't a random request. It was because she was black. For a moment, Chloe considered letting it slide. After all, it was just a small inconvenience. But this wasn't the first time she'd been treated differently in a world that often doubted her abilities because of her race. "No problem," she said, forcing a smile. "But Dave, you've seen me here before. You know who I am." Dave stammered, flustered as he checked her ID again, his hands shaking slightly. "I'm sorry, Miss Lawson. I didn't mean anything by it. Just doing my job." "Right," Chloe said, her voice tight as she swiped her badge and entered the building, letting the doors close with a slight thud behind her. The elevator ride up to her office was silent, the tension from the interaction still hanging in the air. Chloe stared at her reflection in the polished elevator doors. She was angry, but she refused to let it show. She wouldn't let this man or anyone diminish the work she had put in. But she knew this wasn't just about one incident. It was a symptom of a larger issue, a system that saw her as an outsider in spaces she built with her own hands. When she reached her office, the building's management team was already there waiting for her. They wanted to discuss a series of upcoming meetings, but Chloe couldn't concentrate. The memory of Dave's hesitation replayed in her mind, looping with frustration and anger. She excused herself, stepping into the hallway and making a call to her legal team. She wasn't going to let this slide. This wasn't a one-time mistake. It was a reflection of the bigger problem that black professionals faced every day. Later that day, Chloe stood before her employees, all of whom were waiting for her to deliver her regular Monday morning speech. She could feel their eyes on her, waiting for the leader they'd come to respect and admire. But today, Chloe had something different to say. "I want to address something that happened earlier today," she began, her voice clear and unwavering. "I was racially profiled by one of the security staff in this building. It wasn't the first time something like this has happened, and I'm sure it won't be the last. But I won't let this incident define me, and I won't let it define this company. I'm here because I earned it." There was a heavy pause as her words settled over the room. Chloe could see the looks of disbelief on some of their faces, and a few of her black employees nodded in quiet solidarity. They knew exactly what she was talking about. "Now," Chloe continued, her eyes scanning the room, "I could have let it slide. I could have dismissed it as just one of those things. But that's not who I am. And that's not who we are as a company. We are a company that values talent, innovation, and inclusivity, and we won't tolerate discrimination of any kind. Chloe stood tall, her voice strong and confident. This company is proof that we can break through the barriers placed before us, no matter how big they are. We will continue to break those barriers until we are seen for who we truly are, leaders, innovators, and game changers. So let today be a reminder that we don't just take what's given to us. We earn everything we've got, and we fight for what's right. The room erupted in applause. Chloe smiled, feeling the weight of the moment. She had just turned an experience of racial profiling into a powerful statement, not just for herself, but for everyone who worked under her leadership. She was more than just the CEO. She was a force that would not be silenced or overlooked. As the day wore on, Chloe's phone buzzed with messages of support. Her employees, her clients, and even some of the industry's top players were reaching out. It wasn't just the fact that she was a Black CEO that made her a trailblazer. It was her unwavering stance against injustice and her refusal to let others define her worth. Later that week, Chloe received an apology from the building's management. They offered to address the incident with the security team, but Chloe had already made up her mind. She was going to take it a step further. She used the opportunity to launch a diversity and inclusion initiative at Solace Innovations, making it clear that racial profiling would never be tolerated in any form, especially in a place where innovation and equality should thrive. In the end, Chloe didn't just prove herself. She proved to the world that a Black CEO could break down barriers, challenge the system, and rise above the biases that sought to hold her back. She showed everyone that success wasn't just about the bottom line. It was about standing up for what's right, no matter what. And so Chloe Lawson became a symbol of triumph, not just for herself, but for every Black person who had ever been told they didn't belong. She was proof that they were wrong.